Hey there, Chocolate Muffin. There's an interesting thread I came across, and it's funny to read because it's about making money on Arbitrage, and it's about being bored. And I'm already going to spoil it here for you. I'm going to tell you there are many other things we can do in crypto, friends, like buy and hold for the long term. And this is actually what's proven. We have on-chain evidence, we have statistical evidence, and I can tell it to you the full story from start to finish about how compounding works as they print money around the world and it lands in our bucket. And human capital keeps pushing the industry forward. But everybody will keep getting trapped in these games. Very interesting. So you read this thread from Mr. Crypto Stream. He says there's 17 quick ways to make money on Arbitrage that you can try to find out if you are bored from the bear market. I was hoping to see, I was like, please, let there be some great stuff. You're going to find out already. It's not going to be so great. Number one, gambling. Right, there's going to be a lot of gambling, by the way. Providing liquidity on GMX. GMX, you're basically, yes, it's not gambling per se if you provide liquidity and you stake and do whatever, but effectively you are. Because what you end up doing is, you end up having, friends, you see these core coins I have here. Now, you don't have to buy all of them. Of course, I love ChainLink, Hex, PulseX, PulseChain, Hedron, ICOSA, PawPleb. You can get any of these, you can get none of these. It doesn't really matter. But when you're joining something like GMX and this liquidity pool, you are forced to take a big weight in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and also stable coins. You're forced to put your money into that. You don't want to do that. The upside is tiny. So why do people do that? It's because they want the certainty of gains. It's because they can't see the future. Like I see the future. I'm like, well, how high are altcoins going to be when we get up here? Maybe ChainLink is 30x, maybe Hex is 30x higher, PulseChain, PulseX, maybe they're 30x higher. We're trying to make 3,000% like a 30x. These people want to make 10% to 20%. Giant difference. Compare that number. I mean, it's literally 3,000%. 3,000% versus 20%. Enormous difference. I mean, you just want to do the multiplier just to get an appreciation of it. This is how the difference in is 150x, right? 150x difference in reward. Okay, because if we think about the long term, we have to sacrifice the certainty in the short term. But still, everybody will keep flocking to it. Gambling. Look at this. Number two. Borrow money on Radiant Capital. Radiant is just Aave clone. It's literally just borrowing and lending. It's leverage again. And here it is right now. It's the same thing as everything else, friends. Borrowing, lending. You put your money in. You get them credits out. What can you really do with them? And look what it's accepting as well. Ethereum, Arbitrage. Look, at the end of the day, if you want to take a punt on these layer 2s, it's fine. But you don't have many options because the certainty is too high. There's not enough people who think the thing is going to zero. There is not enough people who think Arbitrage is a full-on scam, which means they're not giving away the diamond for a penny. People's perception of value is too close to where they think it's going in the future. It's too close. They have too much certainty with it, about it. So yeah, you can deposit your Ethereum in here and borrow money on it and be DJing on it. But you know what's better than this? How about instead of depositing your Ethereum, instead of depositing it, why don't you deploy your Ethereum? So, you know, the example I even show here. So that's what people do. People have 10 ETH. People have 10 ETH, right? If you deposit it in the protocol, maybe you can borrow like 2 Ethereum worth and then punt around with it. You're not going to make much, man. What I'll do, if I had 10 ETH there, I'm like, that's it. I don't want 10 ETH. That's just too little. Ethereum's only going like 8,000. Maybe it blows our minds, go to 10, 15,000 if we're lucky. Altcoins are going to go so much higher. There are communities undervalued out there. That 10 Ethereum, maybe by the end of it, if you're lucky, you get 15. You get 5 Ethereum back. So 10 becomes 15, right? You get 5 Ethereum. But if you play your cards right, you can get that 10 into 100 ETH. That's just a 10x on your ETH. Think about that difference. In one world, you made 5. In one world, you made 95 ETH. Think about that. Enormous difference. But of course, you can't get paid every day, every step of the way. That's why no one does it. That's why a lot of people ask, you know, why doesn't everybody do this? Well, now you know why. Because I have to tell you, hey, at some point in the future, I don't know where we're going. At some point, things start to reprice higher. You got to stay optimistic and bullish. Look at these other ways to make money if you're bored. Number 3, arbitrage trade on Uniswap. Absolutely do not do this at all. You need capital. You need statistical analysis. You need to know so many things. Like, trust me, this is not your way, friends. People who wear pens in their front pocket, people who have thick glasses, okay? These people, the first thing they do when they come into any asset is they do the arbitrage trade. It's the first thing that go away because it means certainty today. It's very, very short end stuff. It's short end stuff. We want to deal in the long end stuff. In the short end stuff, everybody's competitive because they're like, oh, I want my yield tomorrow. We don't care about our yield tomorrow. We are sacrificing that to get giant pumps in the future. Let's continue, right? They also have, look, number 4, leverage trade. There you go. You already know, friends. Leverage trading is a casino. 95% of people lose to the top 5%. Out of 1,000 people, 950 are getting wrecked. And half of the 50 people remaining, they're not talking to you to tell you what they do. And the other half on their way out, and they're going to start grifting anyway. So leverage trading, absolutely inferior for most people. And we don't even have any evidence that there's more than like 10 leverage traders who've killed it. You can see some leaderboards, but this is the thing, friends. When you look at Bitcoin's history or anything else, I can show you even the altcoin index. It doesn't matter. When you're looking at these, people think like there's some sort of giant list of all these leverage traders. There isn't. There isn't. There's people who make up maybe like a list of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, but there's 100,000 plus people who bought, did nothing, and waited. And then their wealth position significantly increased. Of course, it's not so easy. You got to pick the right thing, and you got to hold long enough. Of course, but what game do you want to play? Do you want to play the game where there's 100,000 people sitting on an island with a straight posture, drinking coconut juice, and they're just rolling around in the sand with their fluffy slippers on, telling you, "Wow, there's literally 100,000 plus of us, friends." And by the way, the number's even higher. Ethereum, Bitcoin, everybody from the ChainLink ICO. There's so many people who are up. So many people. You can go to every single top 100 coin and go, okay, the first 10,000 people of that are up. So really, if you add them all up, it might be like 500,000 to 1 million people. I'm not even kidding. But how many people in leverage trading? 10, 100. Look at the numbers, man. It doesn't even compare. These are all, when this market goes up, spot market wins because you don't have any liquidation price. So all of these are pitfalls. All of these things to do when you're bored. Don't do these. Don't do any of these. You're going to get destroyed. So look at this. Invest in an IDO, which is just an ICO on Camelot. Okay, yeah. This is literally means go and play the lottery because you're that bored. So you can't rely on these things, man. There's too many coins now. I was doing these in the previous cycle, friends. I had ICO allocations from public ICO. I did paid. I forgot the other ones I did, but just forget them, okay? Just forget them. I did like 50 to 70 total across heaps of them. I was doing all these tests. There was some protocols, yeah, to get the ICO. I had to do like a 30-minute test. I had to read a white paper. It was so annoying, man. And at the end, I found out I got a $25 allocation. I vomited. I'm like, oh my God, you made me waste freaking half an hour to do the test, half an hour to prepare, all of this for a freaking $25 allocation. $25. Like, and wow, it went up like 7x. Like, Ethereum gas fees was $400 for a Uniswap trade. Right? So it just didn't even matter what I made, like $200, but who cares? The swap cost me $400. It's pathetic, friends. But this opportunity, it was there because there was not an oversupply of coins. Now there is. Now we have to look elsewhere. But buy and hold is still the optimal thing to do. So they also here provide liquidity on SpartaDex lock drop. So don't do these because when you provide liquidity, okay, you have to give two sides, yeah? So the beautiful thing, say for example on PulseX, is when you provide liquidity, you can have two coins that you want to own, which is right here. So you know what's cool? Hex and Pulse, P-Hex and Pulse, PulseX and Pulse. Great stuff, right? But with these other protocols, they usually want you to put in Ethereum or a stable coin, and then they want to put in their poop coin. So you don't really know how far their poop coin is going to be able to take it. They're just another DEX. There's no community to back it. There are people there, but it's not like it can be easily copy-pasted. Look at this one. Write an educational post about a project. Message a project and offer to write about them for $10. So this is actually pretty cool if you want to start off in the industry to do that. But I'm just going to tell you right now, the bear market's done. All right. We are now moving into that middle phase. Okay. And then we're going to move into the final phase, which is going to be shorter than everyone thinks. You have no business trying to think about this stuff now, unless like you're someone like me who's doing this out of pure enjoyment. Most people, you can't afford to really enjoy this now. You have to think about, okay, ask your job. More hours. Ask your boss for more hours. Can you get another job? How can you increase your cash? Can you raise cash anywhere? Can you sell any items around the house you don't have? You got to do stuff like this to increase your cash position. That's going to significantly help you in the short term, medium term, and long term altogether, rather than trying to do these little cute investments and trying to get in the industry. You know, this position number 8, provide liquidity on Arc Digital. This is a coming perpetual exchange. So once again, friends, it's the same thing as a GMX, just people playing around with their money, but you have to throw it in the wrapped Bitcoin and Ethereum and stable coins. They don't carry enough risk for you to transform your wealth in there. Even if you have 100,000 and you join one of those liquidity pools, you've got to allocate like 65,000 of that to very low risk stuff. So the Bitcoin component, the Ethereum component, the stablecoin component, there's not enough risk there. It's not going to go as high as you think. Look, there are people still believing in $300,000, $500,000 Bitcoin, which means 30 to 50K Ethereum. And they believe all the altcoin bags that you have right now are going to go up 300x, even though every single coin has diminished from every cycle and the whole crypto cycle is starting to slow down. Even though we have all this evidence, people are still clinging on to that hope. So we're running out of time to be able to screw around. You know you can't. Try your luck on Just Bet. Let me guess. Oh, there you go. It's a Web3 casino. Like, you can't play around with this, friends. You know, you can't. Look at these ideas. It's literally gambling, degen stuff. Look at this. Purchase future yield on Pendle. I made a video about this. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing, pressing the bell button. Or I've gone and made a video on Pendle, but you're gambling on the future yield of Ethereum. So look at this. Non-revolutionary liquid staking Diarrhea. You're not taking enough risk because you have ETH plus the yield token. It's not enough risk for you because the ETH part. So this is somebody, let's say they had 10 ETH. Yes, if you're great, you're going to end up with like 12 ETH after a year and a half. Congratulations. But that 10 ETH, if you're in something else, I mean, you can end up with 50 ETH, getting a 5x on that. If you deploy all the Ethereum, you know, maybe you do like 5 in Link and then like 3 in Pulse and then 2 in like EHEX and PHEX. You get the point, right? That's deploying it. That's what I mean by deploying it. You see this game that we're playing, but yeah, they don't have the balls. So this game requires guts. You don't need to go to all this complex stuff. You know, all these other things we're going to go through as well. Look at this, just, you know, deposit liquidity in a vault for DeFi strategies. It's just going to be the same. Liquidity providing. You have to buy a poop coin, same thing. Deposit liquidity for parallax, creating yield strategies again. You can't do that. And then you have mint a yield-bearing stable coin. So that's taken on leverage and then mint the coin. Like, do you see all these things? They all involve leverage and gambling. This is what happens to an industry. This is what happens to finance as it starts to slow down because the collateral is not moving as much. It's not as volatile. So yes, this is a sign of maturity, but you still got to be able to find the undervalued stuff because it's not being handed out for free everywhere. Okay. So look at this, providing liquidity on Uniswap V3, just earning liquidity fees. Don't do that at all. You have, for example, the Pulse chain ecosystem to let you at least yield farm. And what do you want to provide liquidity for on any of our other coins? Because if you get the wrong side, you're going to be giving away your coin. So, you know, there's a lot of things to think about. I also showed a video where you can do it on uniswap.fish and have a look. For example, you can maybe provide liquidity for Link and ETH, but the problem is the target for Link, for example, is much higher than now. You're giving away your ChainLink if you get this wrong. So if you why do you want to provide liquidity literally down here? Even on Hex, on Pulse and PulseX, absolutely no reason to do that. This is Link versus Ethereum, right? And remember, with PulseX and Pulse Chain, they're all linked together. So you're not providing liquidity on their lows. You're providing liquidity in the middle of their ratios. So with this, the targets will go up here, man. See, you see the pitfalls that people fall into because they want the certainty of the returns. They're like, oh, I just want to make yield. I want to wake up tomorrow with yield. You see how they shoot themselves in the foot? Well, of course, I mean, look at these last ones as well. Playing games on a treasury. Like, you see what I mean? Like, it's great that there's a list like this that exists. It's pretty cute. But when you're going through these, you can see the common theme. People who fondle their soap in the shower, they keep ending up in the same place. They keep spinning their wheels. And we'll just finish it off with the total 3 index. Now, look, I know it's not going to do what it did in the past, of course, but it's going to be better than nothing, friends. I mean, we don't know how high the altcoin index is going to grow, and we're looking for the innovation to come, but you got to remember, just because there are all these shiny new objects around us does not mean the old trading principles have changed. And the best trade to do is the one where you buy today and you wait forever and you sell in the future. That's actually what we call investing. That's what actually wins. Like, it actually wins. Firstly, all the richest people do it. It's not even a question, okay? But we all know what happens, right? You go on Twitter, we see, one person turned, for example, $500 into 1.5 million. Could be an insider who bought like the Bold or a new Coinbase coin, but there's going to be a new one. And what you don't know is, like, if you go and actually see the time and sales, you'll be able to see what happens, man. You'll be able to see that they're winning because the first 100 people win, and then the next 10,000 people lose. That's what happens. These people are all chasing. See the 10,000 people? They don't look around to the left and right and say, oh my gosh, for us to win, we need 200,000 people to come in next. They never say that. They're just getting in because they see the green candles up. The maths doesn't work. The finance doesn't work. Nothing of this works. Nothing. And then even the stats don't work because you're like, wait a minute. There's been 80 coins that launched this week. What's the chances this one is going to continue? There's no chance. Hamster coin rugged. Hedgehog coin rugged. China AI coins. Everything rugged. That's why you got to be in the strong network effects, friends. That's why I do have my core coins here, because the community's not going away. It's not a guaranteed 1000x, but people are going to look back and go, wow, I should have just placed my money in stable, strong communities who were there and present. Because if you stay here, okay, that saying, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, yes, that's exactly what's going to be happening here. So I know people laugh out there. They might say, well, 30x isn't a lot of money. Well, yeah, it is. You know why? It's going to be a lot of money because everyone else is going to be literally like break even. They're going to be round tripping, friends. 30x is huge when 95% of people are literally going to be round tripping. The round trip means whatever you make, it comes all the way back down because they held it all back because it didn't go far enough for them. Okay? You're going to be seen as a king and a queen and my friend and a duck all at the same time with straight posture. Tell mom and dad we love and appreciate them. Give mom a big fat kiss for me. I'm going to catch you in the next one.